very good evening and welcome to News Tonight on Rajya Sabha Television. My name is Aishwarya Kapoor and in the next half an hour I'll be taking you through the day's biggest news stories from India and across the world, starting with the headlines. Election Commission demonstrates the working of electronic voting machines, says the voter verifiable paper audit trail system or VVPAT will be mandatory in all the future elections. Home Minister Rajnath Singh chairs the first security review meeting with the chief ministers of 5 Himalayan states, meeting to strengthen coordination to improve security on the India-China border. Efforts continue to reopen Rishikesh-Badrinath highway. Hundreds of people stranded in Uttarakhand's Chamoli district resume journey on alternate route. And Hassan Rouhani wins a second presidential term in Iranian elections. Rouhani wins 58.6% of the vote to defeat his chief opponent Ibrahim Raisi, who gets 39.8% votes. The top story this evening, the Election Commission of India has started a marathon exercise to convince voters and political parties that EVMs used for voting are foolproof and cannot be tampered with. Now, the machines are not connected to the internet during the entire election process, so there is no scope of hacking either. The Commission conducted a demonstration before the media on Saturday, saying that all the future elections will be held using the VVPAT system to ensure transparency. The Commission will also consider reducing human interference in the counting process and may also consider all the addition of votes polled by the machine itself.
The Election Commission of India ruled out the possibility of electronic voting machines being rigged. Addressing a press conference in Delhi after conducting a demonstration on Saturday, Chief Election Commissioner Nazim Zaidi further said all future elections will be held with the voter verifiable paper audit trail system along with EVMs.
The Commission is confident and has firm conviction about the integrity, non-tamperability and credibility of our electronic voting machines. आयोग का कहना है और ये दृढ़ विश्वास है कि हमारी EVMs में कोई भी फ्रीक्वेंसी रिसीवर नहीं है, कोई भी डेटा डिकोडर नहीं है, इसलिए किसी भी प्रकार का कोडेड सिग्नल वायरलेस के द्वारा प्राप्त नहीं किया जा सकता है. And therefore, no tampering can be carried out through external hardwares like wireless, Wi-Fi और Bluetooth device. आयोग ये साफ तौर पे बताना चाहेंगे कि मैन्युफैक्चरिंग स्टेज पर किसी भी प्रकार का मैनिपुलेशन पूर्णतया रूल आउट है, क्योंकि बड़े स्ट्रिंजेंट सिक्योरिटी प्रोटोकॉल्स हैं, particularly regarding the software of security of software.
The Election Commission also reiterated its open challenge to political parties to decode the machines during the EVM hackathon session that will be held on June 3rd. The announcement came after several major opposition parties claimed that the faith of people in the machines had been eroded. Political parties need to confirm their participation by 5 p.m. on May 26th.
चुनाव आयोग 3 जून 2017 से आगे 3 जून से प्रारंभ करके और आगे तक पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज के लिए चैलेंज का आयोजन कर रहे हैं. इलेक्शन कमीशन ऑफ इंडिया इनवाइट्स द नॉमिनीज ऑफ नेशनल एंड स्टेट रिकॉग्नाइज्ड पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज हु कंटेस्टेड and claimed that the EVM machines held under the ownership of Election Commission of India and used in recently held General Assembly elections of 5 states were tampered and or these could be tampered even under technical and administrative safeguards of the Commission. And they will have to demonstrate this claim at the Election Commission headquarters.
For the first time, the Commission also held a demonstration of how EVMs and voter verifiable paper audit trail system work. The technical department of the poll body showed the live demo of the machines.
इसमें ये प्रिंटर है, स्टैंड अलोन प्रिंटर है, बैटरी ऑपरेटेड है, ये बैटरी से चलता है, इसकी किसी भी और डिवाइस से कनेक्टिविटी नहीं होती है. इस डिवाइस को हम कंट्रोल यूनिट से कनेक्ट करते हैं और उसके बाद में जब हम बैलेट प्रेस करते हैं, पीटासीन जब बैलेट प्रेस करता है, उसके बाद में अगर कोई भी वोटर आता है, वोटिंग कंपार्टमेंट में ये दोनों मशीनें रहती हैं, ये पीटासीन के पास रहती हैं. जब हम कोई भी बैलेट बटन दबाते हैं तो उस नाम का प्रत्याशी का स्लिप इसमें से निकलती है और वो स्लिप करके उसमें गिर जाती है।
The Aam Aadmi Party had earlier challenged the poll panel that it will hack its machines in less than 90 seconds. The Congress, the Samajwadi Party and the Bahujan Samaj Party have backed the Aam Aadmi Party in its claims that EVMs can be rigged. Several political parties have also urged the poll panel to revert to the paper ballot system in the wake of the suspicions raised over the machines.
So conclusion is that they are telling that tampering is not possible in the whole process of technology. Where is the tampering process is possible? It is up to the candidates and it is up to the parties where their agents are present at every process. If their candidates' agents are present at every 4 processes, tampering might not happen. Akhilesh Soman for Rajya Sabha Television with camera person Sudhanshu in Delhi.
And now let's listen in to what political parties had to say on the Election Commission's EVM Hackathon challenge.
चुनाव आयोग को बजाय चुनौतियां देने के मेरी ये विनम्र राय है उनसे कि उन्हें ये देखना चाहिए कि कहीं ईवीएम के अंदर कोई गलती तो नहीं, और अगर कोई गलती है तो वो सब एक्सपर्ट्स को बुलाएं और उन एक्सपर्ट्स को बुलाकर उसे दुरुस्त करवा लें।
ईवीएम को दोष देने की जो नौटंकी कर रहे हैं, इसमें इसका कोई विश्वसनीयता नहीं है। और जहां तक पारदर्शिता का सवाल है, पेपर ट्रेल का सवाल है, हम पूरी तरह सरकार को और इलेक्शन कमीशन को इसके लिए बधाई देना चाहते हैं।
लेकिन लोकतंत्र में अगर विपक्षी दल कुछ आशंकाएं और शक शुबह महसूस करते हैं तो चुनाव आयोग का दायित्व है, सरकार का दायित्व है कि उसको पूरा करे।
जो टर्म्स एंड कंडीशंस इलेक्शन कमीशन लगा रहा है ईवीएम को हैकिंग के लिए, वही टर्म्स एंड कंडीशंस हम अपनी मशीन के लिए लगाते हैं, जो हमने विधानसभा में टेम्पर करके दिखाया। चुनाव आयोग एक्सपर्ट्स हमारी मशीन को टेम्पर करके दिखा दें उसी।
On to some other news now. Home Minister Rajnath Singh chaired the first security review meeting with the chief ministers of the 5 Himalayan states on the India-China border today. Chief ministers of Uttarakhand, Sikkim and Arunachal Pradesh and representatives of Jammu and Kashmir and Himachal Pradesh attended the meeting in Sikkim's capital, Gangtok. Now, according to Home Ministry officials, the purpose of the meeting was to strengthen coordination between the ministry and the states to improve overall security along the India-China border. Participants also discussed border infrastructure work undertaken by the Home Ministry and assessed coordination issues between the states and the Indo-Tibetan Border Police or the ITBP.
यह बात आई है कि इस समय होम मिनिस्ट्री 27 सड़कें 27 रोड्स ऐसी हैं जिनका निर्माण कार्य कर रहा है, जो 2019-20 तक पूरी हो जाएंगी। इसके साथ ही हमारे जवानों के लिए पुरानी जो टेम्पररी बीओपीज हैं, वहां पर बैरक टाइप एकोमोडेशन में परमानेंट इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर विद सेंट्रल हीटिंग एंड फ्रीज प्रूफ टॉयलेट्स की योजना भी प्रपोज्ड है। मैंने आज मीटिंग में कहा है कि सीमावर्ती क्षेत्रों में रहने वाले जो लोग हैं वो हमारे स्ट्रेटेजिक एसेट हैं।
And in Uttarakhand, efforts are on to reopen the Rishikesh-Badrinath highway that was blocked after landslides near Vishnuprayag in Chamoli district. Now, nearly 800 of the stranded pilgrims resumed their journey even as efforts to clear the highway continues. Around 1,000 pilgrims are still stranded near Vishnuprayag. The district administration has provided the stranded pilgrims with free boarding and lodging and other necessary facilities.
Hundreds of people stranded in Uttarakhand's Chamoli district resumed their journey even as efforts to reopen the Rishikesh-Badrinath highway continued on Saturday. A major portion of a hill had collapsed near Hathi Pahad near Vishnuprayag, blocking hundreds of vehicles on both sides of the road. Border Roads Organization personnel have been working to clear the debris since Friday afternoon. Chief Minister Trivendra Singh Rawat directed the Secretary of Disaster Management Department to monitor the situation.
ट्रांसशिपमेंट करने के लिए हमने दोनों साइड से सफिशिएंट नंबर ऑफ व्हीकल्स लगा रखे हैं। इसके अलावा डिस्ट्रिक्ट एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन ने वहाँ पर अपने लंगर भी लगा रखा है, प्लस 4-5 हमारे करीब 1000-2000 लोगों के रहने का अरेंजमेंट्स भी है। बद्रीनाथ में ऑलरेडी हम लोगों की बात हो गई है, वहाँ सभी अभी चीज़ें ठीक ठाक है, वहाँ वैसी कोई समस्या की प्रॉब्लम नहीं है। बॉर्डर रोड्स कंटिन्यूसली अपने रोड को ओपनिंग के लिए काम कर रहा है। हमारा मानना है कि आज शाम तक रोड खुल भी जाएगा छोटी गाड़ियाँ हो तो।
With around 2,000 people affected due to the landslide, the stranded pilgrims were brought down by an alternate route. Nearly 1,000 people are still stuck in Vishnuprayag, Pandukeshwar and Govind Ghat. The Chamoli District Administration arranged for free boarding and lodging and other necessary facilities for the stranded pilgrims.
और जहाँ तक व्यवस्था का इशू है, हम लोगों ने यात्रा स्टार्ट कर दी है। बद्रीनाथ से हम लोगों ने यात्रियों को नीचे उतारना शुरू कर दिया। विष्णुप्रयाग से पहले एक रास्ता है, तो वहाँ से हमने घोड़े, खच्चर और कंडियों का इंतजाम कर दिया है और कुछ यात्री जो पैदल चलने में इच्छुक है वो भी आने के लिए तैयार हो गए हैं।
Pilgrims who reach the Badrinath shrine have been stopped and asked not to take the return journey for the next 24 hours.
सीएम साहब के लिए हम बार-बार धन्यवाद देते हैं कि उन्होंने इतनी अच्छी व्यवस्था करी है, जिसका कोई जवाब नहीं। हमने रात को फोन किया, हमने जैसे ही रात को फोन किया, हमें तुरंत उन्होंने जवाब दिया कि आप कहाँ हैं। हमने कहा उनसे कि हम आपकी तहसील पर खड़े हुए हैं। बोले तुरंत उन्होंने आदमी भेज के खुद व्यवस्था करवाई। यहाँ आके देखा, टाउन एरिया में नगर पालिका में हमें ऑफिस में जगह दिलवाई।
Landslides are common in Uttarakhand at this time of the year. In 2013, flash floods and landslides killed over 5,000 people, most of them pilgrims in the Kedarnath Valley. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And now an update on the Jadav's case. Pakistani Prime Minister's advisor on foreign affairs Sartaj Aziz today claimed that the International Court of Justice verdict in the Kulbhushan Jadhav case has not materially changed anything in the case. Aziz said that while the court did stay Jadhav's execution, it did not order consular access for him. He also claimed that when it came to cases involving the death penalty, the International Court of Justice always gives a stay order. Now, stating that his country did not get enough time to prepare for the case, he informed that Pakistan will now strengthen its legal team for the next hearing. Now, Aziz's remarks come at a time when the Pakistani government is facing a lot of criticism about the manner in which it handled the case at the International Court of Justice. Indian national Kulbhushan Jadhav is facing death penalty, which was pronounced by a Pakistani military court. The Pakistani establishment claims that Jadhav was picked up from the Balochistan province on 3rd of March last year after he reportedly entered from Iran. India, however, maintains that he was kidnapped from Iran itself, where he had business interests after he retired from the Indian Navy. News from Jammu and Kashmir. Now, in the wake of the prolonged unrest in the valley, the Congress party held a meeting on its first policy planning on Kashmir, led by former Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh. Now, senior leaders including Ghulam Nabi Azad, Ambika Soni and head of the J&K Congress, Ghulam Ahmad Mir, attended the meeting and expressed deep concern over the situation in the valley. After the meeting, Congress accused the NDO for wasting the decades-long efforts of the UPA in the state.
इनिशियल रिमार्क्स के बाद हर एक मेंबर ने अपनी सोच बहुत फ्रीली और फ्रैंकली व्यक्त की और एक दूसरे की सोच से हमने अपने आप को परिचित करवाया और आज जो मौजूदा हालात हैं वादी में उन पर भी चिंता व्यक्त की और अपनी अपनी बात कही. All what was done during the UPA government of 10 years seems to have been washed away, because if you all recall, there is a long history of initiatives taken at different levels by the UPA government and Congress leadership over the last 4 years.
Meanwhile, Section 144 was imposed in 3 police station areas of Srinagar as a precautionary measure to maintain law and order in view of a program called by Hurriyat leader Mirwais Umar. And for more news from across the country, let's go nationwide. Former Aligarh Muslim University scholar and suspected Hizbul Mujahideen operative Gulzar Ahmad Wani was on Saturday acquitted by a Barabanki court on the charge of a blast in the Sabarmati Express in the year 2000. The blast was carried out on the eve of Independence Day. It claimed 9 lives. Kerala Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan has said that wrongdoers will not have political guardians under the LDF rule. He said that his government has given corruption-free governance during the past 1 year and created a healthy political culture. He also pointed out that in the last 1 year, progress has been made in the developmental projects, including national highways and the Gale pipeline project. The Enforcement Directorate has issued a fresh summons to Narada News CEO Matthew Samuel in his money laundering probe after a sting operation showed several TMC leaders, including MPs and ministers, taking money. Samuel is not an accused in the ED FIR, and the agency wants to quiz him just to get information about the sting. Samuel has said that he cannot appear in person due to medical reasons. And in news tonight, we'll take a very short break. Up next, we have all the international news and sports news. What has happened with the Iran presidential election, we'll be telling you in details. Stay with us.
From cowries to metal pieces, Indian currency has seen many changes. The earliest punch-marked coins came from Gandhar. The East India Company at the turn of the 19th century also minted its own coins. The Indo-Greek coins come from a colony left behind by Alexander. They depict the golden rule of the Guptas, with embossed human portraits and matrimonial alliances like Chandragupta Maurya's wedding with Seleucus I Nicator's daughter.
Hello and welcome. I'm Amritan Shurai. You're watching Constitutionally Yours.
Every 5 years, people get an opportunity to choose a new idea.
It is the State Assembly which is to decide how the fund is to be utilized.
Government of India should revisit the areas where the people are lagging behind.
Two criteria are taken into consideration. First, on the economic structure.
Central government is always expected to have acted with equal dimension.
Watch Constitutionally Yours on Rajya Sabha television.
Situated at a height of 3,048 meters, the town of Tawang in Arunachal Pradesh is claimed by both India and China. It was historically a part of Tibet, inhabited by the Monpas. The Divan Monastery in the town is the largest Buddhist monastery in India. It was inspired by the 5th Dalai Lama, Gawang Lobsang Gyatso, and was built in 1681 by Merit Lama Lotre Gyatso. Tawang Monastery stands on top of the mountain, 10,000 feet above sea level, also known as the Golden Namgyal Latse. The centerpiece of the 3-storied monastery is a massive, richly adorned statue of Lord Buddha, whose benign presence blesses one and all.
Thanks for staying with us. Now let's get you news from Iran, where near complete results show that President Hassan Rouhani has won a second term in office. Now, Rouhani led with 58.6% of the vote compared with 39.8% for his main challenger, hardline Ibrahim Raisi. Now, the result shows that Iran's electorate prefers the moderate reformist path over the rigid ideology and the harsh social restrictions which are favored by the conservative clergy and security establishment.
Iranian state TV has announced the preliminary result of the presidential election, declaring that Hassan Rouhani has won a second term in office. With most of the votes from Friday's election counted, Rouhani won 22.8 million or 58.6% of the votes, soundly defeating his chief opponent Ibrahim Raisi, who received 15.5 million or 39.8%. Turnout was heavy, with more than 70% casting their votes.
خوشحالم که ایشون مجددا انتخاب شدن. البته اگر تا آخر امروز مشخص بشه که قطعا ایشونه، خیلی خوشحال میشم.
کل سیستم هم دلشون می‌خواست که آقای روحانی بیاد که این آرامشی که الان هست بمونه و چون اونورم ترامپ هم هست دیگه خیلی اگه می‌خواستن اینورم به هم بزنن چیزای قبلی رو خب داستانشون تغییر می‌کنه.
Rouhani's main challenger Ibrahim Raisi complained about alleged voting irregularities. A conservative cleric, Raisi accused Rouhani's supporters of acts of propaganda at voting booths, which are banned under electoral law. The election was seen as a verdict on Rouhani's moderate policies, specifically a 2015 deal with world powers to limit Iran's nuclear program.
This is a very crucial moment for our country, actually, because we would like to make connection with an international community.
Analysts say the wide margin of victory has given Rouhani a mandate to continue opening Iran's ailing economy to global investors. The nuclear deal did not translate into the economic revival as predicted because of lingering American sanctions. The resounding victory should also enable Rouhani to expand personal freedoms and strengthen the position of the moderate and reformist faction as the country prepares for the end of rule of the 78-year-old supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And US President Donald Trump arrived in Saudi Arabia on Saturday on his first foreign trip after taking office. Now, Trump and his entourage were given a red carpet welcome from Saudi King Salman at Riyadh. The US President was also presented with Saudi's top civilian honor. The US and Saudi firms signed deals worth nearly $110 billion in the military sector. Saudi Arabia's king said that Trump's visit would strengthen cooperation between the two countries and also help global security. During the two-day visit to the country, Trump will give a speech on Islam and discuss the battle against terrorism with more than 50 leaders. Trump's visit is seen as a highly symbolic as he looks to repair Washington's ties with its closest ally from Arab nations after they became frosty under former US President Barack Obama. Trump, who is facing heat back home over the firing of the FBI chief, is on a 9-day foreign trip. He will also visit Israel, the Palestinian territories, Brussels, the Vatican and Sicily in the next leg of his trip. Let's get you some more international news. Here is the Global Buzz. Francisco Guterres was sworn in as East Timor's fourth president. Guterres replaced Jose Maria de Vasconcelos after winning 57% of the votes. In the inauguration speech, the new president promised to serve all the people of the country and to fight against corruption. The new president is backed by one of the country's most influential figures and former president and Prime Minister Sanana Guzmo. The first bilateral meeting between China and Philippines was held in Guiyang. The meeting was co-chaired by Chinese Vice Foreign Minister Liu Zhenmin and Philippine Ambassador to China Jose Starr. Earlier, the Chinese Foreign Ministry announced that the meeting aims to establish an institutional platform for dialogues on the South China Sea issues. Cambodian parties launched campaigns for the 4th of June local elections. The election is against the backdrop of a political crackdown by Prime Minister Hun Sen, who has vowed to stay on after more than 3 decades in power. Hun Sen's main rival, opposition leader Kem Sokha, held a rally with thousands of supporters and also promised to fight corruption and give more power to local authorities. The death toll in southern Libya attack has risen to 141. The head of the country's UN-backed government suspended his defense minister pending an investigation into the incident. The unity government, the rival administration in the eastern Libya and their respective backers are battling for influence in Libya, which has been reeling under chaos since the fall of dictator Muammar Gaddafi in 2011. China has denied US accusations that its jets flew too close to an American military aircraft patrolling the East China Sea. The US has complained to China through diplomatic and military channels. In a statement, the Chinese Defense Ministry said that the American plane was conducting surveillance over the northern part of the East China Sea, and the Chinese jets moved to identify and verify the planes in accordance with the laws and regulations. Time now for all the sporting action. Here is the Sports Beat. In India's compound archery team won the World Cup in Shanghai by beating Colombia in the final. Abhishek Verma, China Raju Sridhar and Amanjeet Singh scored 226 against Cambodia's 221. The Indians had a minor lead in the opening set with 58-57 on the board. India is seeded 4th in the tournament, and this first major competition after last year's Rio Olympics. New Zealand beat Indian women's hockey team 2-6 in the final match to win the series 5-0. The Black Sticks had a good start with Olivia Mary converting a splendid field goal in the 4th minute. The women in blue were able to make a comeback in the second quarter as Deep Grace Eka successfully converted the penalty corner into India's first goal of the match. But as the Indian team was looking to make a comeback, Pippa Hayward scored the third goal to take the score 3-1. After this, India managed to score just one goal against New Zealand's next three. Austrian Dominic Thiem beat 7 times champion Rafael Nadal 6-4, 6-3 in the Italian Open to reach the semi-finals. Thiem was beaten twice by Nadal in the last 3 weeks, but made it a third time lucky against a Spanish favourite. Nadal was beaten on clay court this year with 17 straight wins. Thiem will now play world number 2 Novak Djokovic or Argentine Juan Martin Del Potro. And Alexander Zverev beat Canadian Milos Raonic 7-6, 6-1 to reach the semi-finals of the Italian Open as well. 16-seeded Zverev broke the Canadian 5th seed's serve twice in the opening set. Zverev will face John Isner of the United States in the semis, who earlier beat 6th seed Marin Cilic 7-6, 2-6, 7-6 in a match to enter the semi-finals. Organizer of the 2022 World Cup launched Doha as the first proposed venue of the tournament. The Doha Stadium was built in 1976 for the Gulf Cup soccer tournament and used for the 2006 Asian Games as well. It has gone extensive renovation, including the installation of a revolutionary cooling technology as well as installation of a larger roof over the entire spectator area, weighing 4,000 tons and holding 92 panels in place. This will be the first FIFA World Cup venue to be lit by LED lighting. That's it from me and my team in this edition of News Tonight. Thanks for watching. Good night.